The changes and trends that I think are most exciting to me in television right now is the fact that there is so many outlets for content, which means there's so much content that historically would not have been produced because there weren't outlets for it and people weren't able to monetize it. So now I think it's really the glory days for producers, writers, content creators, because if they've got something decent, there's a distribution platform for it, whether it's on Netflix or whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on Hulu or HBO Now. And it doesn't all have to be monetized through advertising. And I think that's what's changed a lot too. A lot of content is evaluated now based upon, is it in the zeitgeist of the cultural conversation? And there are lots of shows that actually grab that but don't necessarily even get the ratings. And I'll use like Girls at HBO was one of those shows. It did decent ratings, but what was more important for a show like Girls was that it really captured kind of a big, larger cultural conversation that made it very relevant. And I think that's all been driven by social media. HBO has historically been a wholesale-driven company, and so our relationship through the consumer from a pure data and understanding who they are has really been driven through the distributors, because the distributors like the Comcasts of the world are the ones that have the consumer relationship, and we're pretty much providing the service. But what has changed in the last 2 years is that we've launched a direct-to-consumer service, HBO Now, which we launched last May, which enables us not only to have a business relationship with them, but more importantly, get information on consumer preferences, how they use it, what they watch, and that helps us in terms of informing us beyond the ratings. And what we learned was people weren't watching the streaming service for movies per se or theatricals. They're watching it for a lot of the library. And old shows got new life. For example, The Wire. That's what's really been unusual, and I think really given HBO kind of a whole new lease on the subscription business is by what we're learning on the digital side. I'm definitely a 2 or 3 screen person, which drives my family, my husband in particular, crazy. We're watching it almost always on demand, either on TV or on an iPad, quite frankly, and everything we do is somewhat stacked in terms of back-to-back episodes, except for certain culture zeitgeist kind of shows like Game of Thrones. And I think that's one, even if I could watch it, it's like, no, that's appointment viewing. And there's certain shows and live events, I think that will always be the case.